What's up, everybody? This is Sonia Gomez coming to you live from Colorado. I am super excited to be here with you on another bonus broadcast for Legalize It, Don't Criticize It, the place to be for cannabis, CBD, and the new emerging business opportunities that are making everyday people just like you and me, giving them incredible opportunities for us to be able to invest and profit from what we are calling the green rush. Today, I have a very, very exciting guest who I'll be bringing on here in just a moment. But as you are popping on, you guys, let me know what city you're in, what state are you in, and are you excited to be here? What's your burning questions? If you could ask a successful cannapreneur any question, what would it be? We are here to make sure that you learn the truth about cannabis, hemp, CBD, and how it can help you transform the way that you feel and function every single day. But we also want to make sure that you are getting the real information from real entrepreneurs and pioneers in this space who are transforming the way that we are doing business inside of the cannabis industry. So make sure that you write down your questions, like and share this content, and tag 5 people that you know it's going to make a difference from. Here's the deal, you guys. When you like and share content like this, you are helping the mission to get cannabis and hemp CBD totally legalized, and making sure that people who need and want it have safe and legal access to this miraculous medicine. But you're also making sure that we, the people, have total and full control and freedom to operate this industry the way that it should be taken care of. So tag 5 people, like and share this content. Because you've done that for us before, we've been able to impact over 27 million people's lives. So grateful to you for being a part of this community. Let me say what's up to some of you guys as you're popping on here. What's going on, Colin? Mike, thanks so much for being here. Bobby, great to have you on the show today. Devin, what's going on? We got Daniel in the house. We got Boston. What's going on, Texas? We see New York in the house. What's going on, guys? Barry, happy to have you guys on here. We got we have global attendance today. We got Jamaica, we got Africa in the house. That's awesome. What's up, Edward? Oh, we got Joseph going on here. Thanks so much for liking and sharing. I'm starting to see all of the notifications popping up. We got Memphis in the house. Carlos, what's going on? Thanks for being here, you guys. This is so exciting. Again, make sure like and share the content. And here we go. Another really, really warm Legalize It, Don't Criticize It welcome for the CEO of Leafwire, which is the cutting edge platform for investors, entrepreneurs in the cannabis economy. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Mr. Peter Vogel. Peter, what's going on? Thanks so much for being here with us.
Hey, Sonia, how are you? Really excited to be here. Love your program and really excited to have people here from all over the world. That's awesome.
Yeah, it is really cool. I'm so excited to see our community grow. We have folks tuning in from every single continent and multiple countries, which is really exciting. I love hearing the stories of how cannabis is going over there. But for people who I know about you because I'm in this space, and I just found out that we're both locals, which is really awesome. I can't wait to get together. But for people who are just tuning in and don't really know a lot about you and are just learning about the cannabis space, why don't you take a minute and introduce yourself? Tell us who you are, where you're from, and what you're doing in the industry.
Sure, would love to. So my name is Peter Vogel, and I'm the CEO and co-founder of Leafwire. And I'm actually relatively new to the cannabis world. I've been a CEO and co-founder in the tech startup space for a little over 20 years. So I've gone through all the ups and downs that you go through in the startup space, but from a more of a tech perspective. Started a bunch of different companies and just got brought over into cannabis about a year ago. A buddy of mine who also used to be in the tech space co-founded a company called Simplifia, which does compliance for dispensaries and grows. And about a year ago, we had lunch and he told me about his company and what an amazing opportunity the cannabis space was. And he told me about the concept of Leafwire and asked if I wanted to come join. So I jumped in head first.
Sweet. Well, there's a lot of corporates gone cannabis coming out of the cannabis closet. A lot of folks who are bringing years and years of success and real life knowledge and building businesses that a lot of us might be familiar with, or at least know are behind the scenes on some of the more public brands. And I'm embracing it, actually. There's a lot of folks who are like, oh, keep corporate out. And then there's some folks who are like, we need these guys to legitimize the industry that's growing around us. And big up to Simplifia, because without compliance, the businesses can't and won't exist, which means we can't get access to the medicine that we want and need. So major shout out to your partner on that one, because it's just so necessary for the industry. When you jumped into the industry from, doing your more traditional style businesses, what was the reaction from your peers, from your family, from your community? Did you get any lashbacks? What was that transition like for you?
So I think I might have been a little bit spoiled because I was in Colorado, where we've been, as you know, recreational legal since 2012.
Yep.
A couple years before that was medically legal. So it's kind of a pretty, here now at least, it's a very recognized business opportunity and industry that, if anything, I think what I got more than anything else was envy or excitement or enthusiasm. And one thing that amazed me, cannabis is kind of funny in the sense that it's big enough. Everybody knows somebody in cannabis, but it's small enough that they want to tell you about them and want you to meet them. So every single person I told I was going into cannabis said, oh, you got to talk to so-and-so. Like, he'd love to talk to you. So I had an amazing network of people on day one.
I noticed that too. I came over from California, and when I was just plugging in and reacquainting myself with the people and businesses that are emerging here, and I came over in 2009, there was such an open arms mentality here, which is not always true in other industries. I've worked in other industries before, and people are very much like keeping their contacts close to the vest. But what I love about this space is that a lot of people have like one for all for one kind of mentality. And we know that one person's success is the industry's success. So I really, really love that. So can you explain Leafwire? What exactly does Leafwire do for the industry, for the entrepreneur, for the investor?
So Leafwire actually has a couple different roles. The initial role is to act as a platform to connect investors to cannabis companies who are fundraising. So you can think about it just like a LinkedIn, where you join, you create a profile, and both investors and companies can look for each other based on, you can use criteria, like if you want to find companies in Denver, or if you want to find companies in seed stage, or if you want to find companies that are raising, $1 million. You can search with all that criteria, and the two sides can connect, communicate, and potentially move forward and do a deal. So we're a connection platform. But it also functions as a kind of a LinkedIn for the general cannabis community, because people aren't fundraising all the time.
Right.
But when they're on the platform, just like LinkedIn, they can read news, they can share jobs, they can announce new products, anything you would do on a LinkedIn, just like connecting, sending messages, all of those things. We have all that on Leafwire, but we're 100% cannabis. Everything is pro-cannabis, cannabis-centered, cannabis news, cannabis jobs. So we're 100% supportive of the entire economy.
Love it. I love it. And we really need that. A lot of what Legalize It, Don't Criticize It, and the Green Rush and some of our other communities have been heavily focused on creating a safe place for folks to ask questions, for folks to get connected, products, which ones are the best. We've created a whole vetting process so that you're not inundated by the white noise of like, buy my stuff and try this doctor and, $300 for this, $99 for this, give me your email. It can get very, very noisy on the internet. So having a safe place where you can ask your questions and not be bombarded with advertising is really, really nice. And I love that about LinkedIn. And I was looking for that for cannabis, because, You know, we have a growing company. I know that a lot of the folks in our community, and if you guys are one of those people who have been looking at the cannabis industry as an investment opportunity, or perhaps you're starting to tailor some of your products and services to suit the cannabis consumer, maybe you are considering a business that you can start in this industry, this might be a really, really great place for you to start building a relationship, getting the information that you need, understand what resources are available to you, and meeting you exactly where you're at. If you like this content, make sure that you like and share it, and go up to the link inside of the description if you want to get notifications from us on when we are interviewing more incredible CEOs and change makers like Peter Vogel. Peter, let me ask you one of the harder questions. Now, a lot of our readers are in states or communities where this is not widely accepted. It's not a hot topic. They have to be very private about their affiliation with cannabis, whether they use it or not. You know, being from Colorado, what is some advice that you can give folks when they are starting to approach the conversation of cannabis inside of their communities or with their families or in professional environments?
You know, I haven't been in that situation, right? Because I was lucky to be in Colorado, but I think the advice I would give people is just to treat it as they would any other business, to explain how professional it is, how much it is like any other business. You know, all the same business rules apply that do in any other business. So I would just treat it as that it's an industry, it's a job, it's a business. It's one that a lot of us have a passion for in a very strong way that's different than other industries. But it really is, when it boils down to it, it's an industry. It's about selling a product, creating a product, and providing a service that people want.
Now, from the work that you've done in digital marketing, how are you utilizing those skill sets and applying them to Leafwire right now? And what difference is that going to make for your business? You know, so many folks are coming into the business with new brands, new identities, new offerings, new products. What's going to keep you in when so many folks are failing, like by the handfuls?
Right. So we are applying very traditional business startup methodology to this business, just like I would any other that we've started over the last 20 years. We're using all of the social media strategies that a startup in Silicon Valley would use. We're using a professional PR company and getting our name out there, just like, you know, a company in Silicon Valley would. We're using all of the mainstream email tactics, all of the engagement tactics, all of the same measurement of website, you know, clicks, engagement, how long people are on the site, etc. So, I mean, in general, we're really just using all of the same strategies that we would for any normal online company.
Nice. I think that, I mean, everybody has a different approach, right? We're a personality driven company. We've used influencers from inside of our community who have life-changing stories. And what I hear you saying is that you're really implementing the systems behind the scenes. And I've talked about this before because, you know, there's different kinds of entrepreneurs, I'm very much an in front person. I need to be connecting and engaging with audience. Love you guys, by the way. Where my husband is a systems guy. He wants to know how things are working. What's the follow-up look like? How are we going to keep our customer engaged when there's not a personality on the camera, right? And I love that that is how your company is being built, because it's so necessary. I think a lot of organizations who are failing, and by the way, Forbes says, for you guys who are watching this, Forbes says that 8 out of 10 businesses are going to fail within their first year in business because they don't have the fundamentals in place. And an online term that I've heard quite a bit from my mentors is the fortune is in the follow-up. So, so I love that you guys are really systems focused and looking at how you're going to keep everything and everyone together when there's not a personality in front saying, hey, look at me. What do you think the benefits of global, like for your organization? Yes, but the ripple effect of legalization, we've watched it from the motherland here in Colorado. What do you think legalization is going to do for our nation once it is federally adopted?
One, I think you're going to see a lot more money pour into cannabis and be available for companies who are fundraising, because there are still tons of venture capitalists and institutional investors who are staying out. They're still afraid until it's 100% federally legal. And that's literally billions and billions of dollars that is not coming in. And if you watch what's happening in Canada, Canada is starting to buy up some companies in the US. The US companies are going public in Canada. We're losing business and we're losing companies to Canada because the money is there and it's not flowing here yet. I think one other interesting thing that I think we'll see is the emergence of brands more in a much bigger way, because right now it really stops a lot of brands. And you do see things like, the Marley's Naturals and the Willie's Reserve and things like that, that they've done a pretty good job in several states. But I think once you're allowed to actually ship across state lines and you don't have to produce your own product in every single state and follow different rules in every state, I think all of a sudden you're going to start to see a lot of big brands. And for consumers, that's going to help provide consistency and make them more certain about what they're buying from place to place, store to store, state to state. And I think it's just going to make the entire industry a lot more professional once those bigger brands can emerge.
So since you're on the investor, since you're kind of a liaison for investors and startups, and you're very much in that world, some of the conversations that we've been having with, let's call us middle America, right? The folks who may not have six figures to invest into a startup, they may have, $50,000 or $10,000. Can you talk a little bit about what you should be looking at in a startup? What can somebody with a smaller and yet substantial amount of money, how can they come into the industry? Where's the best place for them? Maybe not where's the best place, but what is the best way for them to invest and diversify their investments or footholds in this industry right now? I think we're all looking for that way to financially benefit from the green rush, and just need some direction. I see comments here and I love it. You guys keep the comments coming because this is our chance to get our questions answered. But somebody's saying, like, you can't do anything with $5,000 or $10,000. You need 250 to get through licensing and this and that. And I think a common misconception is that in order to be in the cannabis industry, you have to grow, buy, or sell the plant or the flowers, right? And I think your business is a perfect example of an ancillary business that is serving the industry, profiting from the industry. What advice what kind of direction can you offer folks who are trying to put some money into the space and are maybe not sure how to get started or where to put their money?
That's a great question, and one that I get probably every single day. And typically what I tell people, and you just made a really good point. A lot of people when you think of a cannabis company, you only think of the ones who grow, transport, process, or sell. And there's a little over 15,000 licensed companies here in the US. It's probably up a little bit because California is handing them out like crazy right now.
Right.
As of a month ago, I think it was 15,000. So there's 15,000 companies essentially that do those things, that actually grow, that make product, process, sell it in a store. But there are people, the estimate out there is probably 3 to 4 times as many companies that are ancillary. So let's just say 3x. It's 45,000 companies that are ancillary. And ancillary just means companies that don't touch the plant. They don't have to be licensed. And those are companies that do everything from process payments in dispensaries. They could be loyalty programs. They could be people that do advertising. A company like yours, Sonia, is an ancillary company in the cannabis space. My company is an ancillary company. So what I tell people is it's easier if you're in states where it may not be legal to look at these ancillary opportunities first. It's a really good way to dip your toe in the market, get to know cannabis. And you can, in answer to the question you got there on the screen, you can invest for $5,000, $10,000, $20,000. And a great example, just go on Leafwire, join, and you can look at companies you can invest in. And some companies require minimums of $20,000 or $50,000, but some are less. So there are lots of ways. And, that's why we created the platform, is so people could find companies. So that's what I recommend for people to start there, and then also just to read news about cannabis. I mean, there's lots of great. I mean, your websites, which I'm sure you can talk about after this, like where you would recommend, but there's tons of great places to get news and industry insights.
You know, actually, I've been really looking for a platform and a space, because one of the things that I'm super proud of is the fact that we have such a rapport with our audience. We're like family, you know, so Thanksgiving could be real messed up if you send somebody to the wrong place, except
Right.
like every day is Thanksgiving on my page. So I'm really careful about what, you know, physical products I recommend. Who do I recommend to do business with? And we James and I, my husband, spent a lot of time on your platform looking at the real diversification that you offer on your page. There's, you know, minority owned businesses, there's cannabis companies, there's, you know, there's all different types. And what I love is how you've segmented out what kind of investor people are too. For instance, ones who are interested more in the media side of things or on the education side of things, others who are invested into the grow operations or more directly related with the plant. There's also ones who are not affiliated with cannabis per se, but are definitely interested with CBD. So it's just so interesting to see that while there's several, you know, several categories of businesses and opportunities there, there's also quite a few different types of investors. And I think that, you know, investors kind of have a bad name in Middle Earth, if you will, because they're so inaccessible, and so they get kind of grouped together. But I love how you've kind of diluted that stigma a little bit. It made it very approachable to say, like, look, this is the shark I am, right? Like, I want to be this kind of investor. I'm looking for these types of businesses. And that becomes really powerful in the connection phase of things. So good on you, my friend. Good on you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. What's the funnest thing about what you do? Like, what brings you the most joy? What is the thing that wakes you up every morning? Because running a business, period, is not easy. Running a business that's associated with federally illegal substance is 10 times harder. What's the thing that keeps you going in the morning?
You're right. I mean, it's tough running any business, a startup especially. You're constantly struggling with 20 different things at once. But I think for me, it's actually it's the people and getting together with a lot of those people. And we've had really good success in throwing these Shark Tank like pitch contests. We did one in Denver. We had about 120 people. We just did one in LA last week. We had 100 plus people. We're doing one in Miami in the end of September. So if anyone's in Miami, come join us. You can go to Leafwire. We'll have a link up for the event. But we have 5 or 6 judges who are, you know, some of the biggest investors in the country. And then we have 6 to 8 companies pitching. And what's amazing is the enthusiasm and excitement of people, that like everyone there in the crowd, the attendees, everyone is so excited to be there and just jazzed by the whole cannabis economy. And at our last event in LA, I had a bunch of people come up to me and say how much they love the event. And one person said it was literally like 10x the excitement of the last tech pitch contest they went to. They said you couldn't even compare like the amount of excitement right now in cannabis. So it's those people and like those groups that I think really keep it exciting and refreshing.
I would have to agree. And that's so cool that you're doing that. And please tell me how I can help you get hearts and seats. I know that there's so many. As a matter of fact, for those of you who are tuned in with us right now, give me a big fat oh yes if you would be interested in going to an event like this, where you could take your product, your service, your idea or business and pitch it to a group of socially responsible and excited entrepreneurs who were interested in investing in you. If you would go to an event like that, say yes. You're going to start to see these comments pouring in. One of the things that my audience loves the most, my fam loves the most, is live experiences. Oh my gosh, they're coming in right now. They're like, yes, oh yes, of course I would. So yeah, I would love to help you make sure that we have a good number of hearts and seats for for your Miami event and talk to you about
Awesome.
other areas that you're going to be in, because we have such a vast network of people, and I'm so super passionate about getting them connected to the resources that they need to do better and bigger things in their life, you know?
Awesome. Yeah, I'll happily share all the details with you. So like I said, the next one's September 20th in Miami. And then the next one after that is October 12th in Oakland at the New West Summit, New West Summit 4.0, which is a really rad conference focusing on investment in technology and cannabis. So it's all, to me, it's all the most interesting parts all in one conference. So we're doing a big pitch. That one's actually going to be a $10,000 cash prize in Oakland. So
how many of you want a $10,000 cash prize? Be honest. Okay, so in the spirit then of getting started and starting your own business, then, you know, what can I do and what do I need to do and all of this fun stuff, what are 5 tips that you would share with our audience or with our startups, with our beginner entrepreneurs, to help them start a successful cannabis or cannabis centric company?
Sure. Let's see. So, you know, I kind of mentioned earlier, but it's amazing how many people know someone that can help you. And one of the things I always tell people is when you start your cannabis business, tell everyone you know you're starting a cannabis business. Even if you think they don't know anything about cannabis, I almost guarantee they know someone who does know something, or they know someone who knows someone. So, and you won't find that out unless you talk about it. So I always tell people, like, tell everyone, don't be shy, tell everyone you know. I do think it's really important, and we kind of touched on this earlier, but bringing in skill sets from outside of cannabis, getting some people in your business who have experience, whether it's in advertising, whether it's in finance, whether it's in marketing or product or anything, bringing some people in from outside who have experience and have done this at other companies, you know, maybe multiple times for decades, and pair that with some people who are really experienced in cannabis, who are veterans, who maybe worked in the industry for a couple of years, who worked in a dispensary, who owned a grow, who know whatever it is that's important to your company. You know, bring in people who are those experts to work alongside people from outside. And I think that kind of pairing those is really important. We try to do that at my company, and I always advise other companies to do that. Let's see. So I think one other thing, and you know, the majority of these tips apply to just business, I think, not just cannabis. I mean, because cannabis it's a business, is to be willing to ask for help, and to be humble, and not go into something thinking you know everything or that you know what you're doing. But, you know, don't be afraid to ask someone who you respect to go to lunch, you know, offer to buy him lunch, or her. And then, you know, ask them questions, and be honest. A lot of first-time entrepreneurs never want to admit a weakness. They never want to admit they don't know something. They think it's going to make them look dumb. But the honest thing is, the people who share the most are probably the most experienced people, because they realize the more you share and the more you ask for help, you know, the more help you'll get. But that's true. Like I said, that's true for any business. You know, one thing I think too is really important, I guess in any business, but especially in cannabis, because we're trying to, you know, convince everyone outside cannabis that we're professionals, this is a business, is something as simple as being on time. And in cannabis, that's probably happens less often than you would think. People are late a lot. People don't show up when they should all the time. And just as a general business practice, I think as we're all trying to bring this level of professionalism to cannabis, to remember that you respect other people's time, you know, show up when you say you're going to show up, do follow up when you say you're going to follow up. And again, that's like any business. And I think, was that 4? The last one here was a collaboration. So not just asking people for help, but working with people. So like, as an example of this, so on Leafwire, we wanted to add some content. We want more up there, not just news and things, but we want jobs. It would be way too hard for us to create our own job boards. We're partnering with Vangst, which is a local Denver, it's an ancillary company here, VANGST. And they have a job board. They've raised, I think, $4 or $5 million. They're really successful. They have about 50 or 60 employees here in Denver. So they're a great example of a company that's rocking it right now. And we're going to tie into their API. We're going to show their jobs. We get the content. Our members come on the site more, and we help send traffic to Bankst. So it's a win-win partnership. So things like that, I think, are huge. And there's, I mean, we're looking at, say, 5 more things just like that, in ways that we can just partner and help each other. And kind of like you were saying, like, we'd be happy to partner with you guys, help promote your content, help promote everything you guys are doing, and you guys are helping promote us, helping promote our events, getting people there, et cetera. So I think, like, all of those partnerships are, I think, what really makes companies successful, and people are willing to do it in cannabis. Like you said earlier, people tend to be pretty open and willing to share. So you just have to kind of focus on that and make it happen.
Yeah, I really agree. And you know what? This is kind of a trick question. So good job, because you did a really great job answering this question. It is a trick question. I tell folks a lot of times when they're willing to listen, business is business, whether it has cannabis or hemp in the name or not. And one of the things that I heard you emphasize really clearly, and I think is super necessary to listen to, is integrity and being trustworthy. Showing up on time, for instance, is just, or taking a moment to dress up, right, is just 1 or 2 ways to show, like, hey, I'm trustworthy, I care about this, and I operate myself and my business with integrity. And I think that that's really, really important, and something that is has been left to the wayside. Back in the day, my husband's family is really famous for doing handshake deals and being in the highest integrity with all of the deals that they were making. And they did amazing businesses together. But I think it has been a time where you can't operate that way anymore. A lot of people got lazy in the way that they connect or how they do things. And I think the digital age has really disrupted human connection as well. So it's important, I think, the values that you shared here and the sort of steps to follow to get back to that. What are the basic human necessities to feel like you can trust a person and that you want to do business with them? And if you bring that when you're getting started, if you bring that same kind of dedication to excellence when you're just getting started, people who are a little bit further ahead of you are going to be excited to share resources or connect you with relationships that are important to them. And that can fast track your success in any industry, but especially with cannabis, because it's such a tight-knit community. You build a reputation pretty quickly. Would you agree?
Amen. Yeah, you kind of just highlighted and underlined everything I believe. So yeah, 100%.
Awesome. Look, I think that it's safe to say that you're considered to be a person of great influence. I know that you've done incredible work online before in other businesses not directly associated with cannabis, and now in the cannabis space, really upholding that professional image, contributing to the way that the perception of the cannabis industry is. What is your main mission here with this business, and what is a quote that kind of keeps you plugged into your bigger mission or higher purpose?
So those are kind of two different questions, but on the first one, the higher mission, we really exist to support the entire cannabis economy. And a big part of that is starting off by helping entrepreneurs get the money they need to build their businesses. Because if you can't build your business, you can never build it into a successful business, down the road. So you have to be able to get started. And that startup funding is so key and so difficult for a lot of people to get that's really the first step. Is how do you connect with investors? How do you communicate? How do you present your company? And we try and help our entrepreneurs with putting together pitch decks, with tips on how to connect with investors, how to communicate, how to follow up. And I've actually just started writing a series of articles for entrepreneur.com, and I'm writing basically tips on cannabis entrepreneurs and mistakes not to make in your pitch deck, how to get a meeting, tactics to actually use when you follow up with an investor, things like that. So I think all that kind of stuff is super valuable
Yeah.
for the new entrepreneurs in cannabis to know and excel at.
Love it. So then if you could inspire a movement through your influence that would do the most amount of good for the most amount of people, what would your movement look like?
A movement, this is outside of cannabis.
Yeah, that's okay.
Okay.
You
So
don't have to be like a whole cannabis menu. Like, I assume there's other aspects of you that are important too.
yeah. So I'm an animal lover. My wife and I have a dog and 3 cats. They're all rescues. And I just started partnering with um, a charity called No Kill Colorado. And what they do that I think is amazing is they don't just try and bring pets off the street, or they don't just try and bring medicine to sick pets. They actually go shelter to shelter and give them a 10-point system how to establish a no-kill policy, and they put pressure on them with both the city and the government, everything, to get them to actually make that change and actually change the system. And they're doing that here in Colorado with the goal of making it so not a single animal dies who doesn't have to. So they're basically trying to get to 0 animals killed in shelters in the state of Colorado. And what's great is they want to use people and funds from cannabis in order to achieve it, and to show the rest of the country that the cannabis community came together here and got that done.
I think that's so amazing. And when I was reading through your, I'm super passionate about animals too, by the way.
Oh, great.
I love dogs.
You'll
I'm
have to
allergic
join
to
us.
cats. But
I'll invite you to some of our first events.
Yeah, I would love to. I'd love to come and support. And I know a lot of our followers here. And if you guys have a cat or a dog or some sort of fur baby that is a part of your family, you can share either a picture or let us know that you have a dog or cat. I know a lot of you guys have family members, pet family members that you would want to share with us too. Hey, if you guys are liking this information, make sure that you like and share, and go ahead and click on the link in the description if you want to get more notifications when we have guests like Peter Vogel on our page. You can get a special private message from me letting you know when we are about to go live. Peter, when I was reading through the questions that we sent over, I was really, really inspired to hear that you had a sister who had participated in the Special Olympics for decades. Tell me about that.
Yeah, so that's the second organization that I was going to mention that I'm passionate about as well. So, Special Olympics gives both kids and adults, who oftentimes don't have the ability to participate in a lot of those competitive sports, a chance to do that, a chance to be with friends, the chance to go to all those events, etc. And I've been several times, and it is something that lasts for decades for the people who participate in it. They can participate when they're young, and my sister's into her 40s, and she still goes and does Special Olympics swimming meets, and they have them. She's in Ohio, so they go to the capital. They go to Columbus every year, and it's a big event where everyone goes and stays in a hotel, and they have team events and dinners and dances, and it's just a lot of fun.
I love that. My mom did a lot of work with folks with all different types of disabilities. She's an incredible practitioner and body worker. So a lot of them were physical disabilities, but also mental as well. And it was so much fun to be around them. One of the things that I love is how loving and accepting that group of folks is, and to come around in the Special Olympics, for instance, I think is such a fabulous way to show support for your community and to give back. So good. I mean, that's so incredible. And one of the things that's so inspiring about this industry for me, Peter, I'll just share with you, is how socially responsible and involved we are with our communities. A lot of the entrepreneurs and businesses built in this space particularly always have their social impact built into their monetization plan. It's never like, oh, when I make this amount of money, I can start to give back. It's always like right at the forefront of what they're doing. They do what they do, and what they do is fueled by the impact that they can make. So I'm just so happy to be a part of that group of people. I think it's really inspiring and an excellent example for folks who are considering making a transition from corporate to cannabis, or wanting to come out of the cannabis closet and trying to find a way to represent who they are, but put cannabis in front of it. I think that that's really important, to just be your most authentic self, share the things that you're most passionate about, and people will subscribe to you. There's an old saying that says people don't buy people, they buy, or people don't buy products, they buy people. So being your most authentic self when you're getting started in business, as you're growing your little ideas and incubating the things that inspire you and wanting to turn it into an income stream for yourself, these are the things that you can take into consideration. And then plug into platforms like Leafwire. Peter, why don't you go ahead and tell us where we can find you and get connected with you if we're entering into this business or have a business or want to start one. Where can we find you? Where can we get connected into Leafwire?
Yeah, the best way to get connected to Leafwire is just go straight onto Leafwire, leafwire.com. You can join. Everything's free. Create a profile. You can communicate with me directly on Leafwire. You can also, if anyone wants to reach out with me direct as well, I'm just peter@leafwire.com. So those are probably the two best ways, but my kind of last message here would just be to encourage everyone to come join Leafwire and help us create the community. The bigger network we get, the bigger community, the more powerful it is. So that's probably the most important message I have, is to come join together. Check us out on Leafwire.
Well, aren't you happy you met me today? Because we are a connector machine, my friend.
Awesome.
So awesome, you guys. Make sure that you check out Peter and the other investors and entrepreneurs who are inside of leafwire.com. Make yourself a profile. You can see James and myself in there. We are all about supporting new and emerging entrepreneurs, businesses, and change makers in and outside of the cannabis industry. This will be an incredible resource for you guys. We've already done a deep dive into the network there. It's an amazing place for you guys to get information, resources, and potentially an investment into your new growing companies or little ideas that you want to turn into a big business. Peter, I'm so grateful for your time and attention today. This was such an incredible interview for me. I love just how sharp you are, how clear you are. It's just so easy to understand those 5 tips. Hey, you guys, if you got value from this, say, oh yes, in the comments and give a big thank you to Peter. We'll start to see those comments roll in. And I love your last thoughts, Peter. Thank you so much. I can't wait to get more involved with the Leafwire community. And we'll talk more about making sure that our Miami folks or folks in the southern part of the United States get a chance to come down there and check you guys out. I think that'll be a great event.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, you guys, I hope you're having an amazing day. This was another bonus broadcast of Legalize It, Don't Criticize It, the place to be for cannabis and hemp CBD. And I am so grateful to every single one of you. Like and share this if you got value, and make sure that you tag 5 people. If you want to continue to get notifications from us when we are going live with inspiring change makers like Peter Vogel, go ahead and click the link inside of the description and I'll send you a private message from Semwa. I'm your host, Sonia Gomez. See you on the next broadcast.